The morning sun barely peeked over the rooftops of Willow Creek, a quiet suburb in Oregon, on a crisp October Saturday in 2024 when trouble stirred. I was lounging on our front porch, cradling a chipped mug that read World's Mediocre Dad, savoring the rare stillness. My wife, Lena, was inside, humming an old jazz tune, finally free from a brutal week managing a multi-county traffic reroute after a highway overpass buckled. For once, her phone wasn't screaming with emergencies. Her state-issued SUV, a sleek, marked Enforcer, sat legally parked in front of our home on Maple Lane, right by the mailbox, shielded by a residential exemption she'd personally authorized. The air was calm, birds chirped, and I was debating pancakes versus a quick diner run when she appeared. Vivian. No warning, no sound of her polished loafers on the pavement. 1 second, I'm picturing maple syrup. The next, she's standing 5 feet away, radiating daytime, soap opera energy. Sunglasses perched like a tiara, clipboard clutched like a scepter, lips pursed tight enough to crack walnuts. Without a word, she jabbed a manicured finger at Lena's SUV, declaring it an eyesore that violated the community's visual standards. I blinked, half expecting a hidden camera crew. "It's a government vehicle," I said, keeping my tone light. "Legally parked." Vivian snorted, her voice dripping with condescension. "Doesn't matter. The HOA bans municipal junk like that. Move it, or I'll have it towed by noon." She spun on her heel, tossing a final barb. "I've got people for this, honey." I stepped inside, jaw half open. Lena, sipping tea by the window, had heard it all. Her eyebrow arched. "She called my car junk?" A slow grin spread across her face. "Oh, she's in for a ride. See, Lena isn't just any traffic cop. She's the state's chief compliance officer for traffic enforcement, the one who writes the rules Vivian thought she could bend." Her calm was unnerving, the kind that signals a storm. I suggested moving the SUV to avoid the hassle. Lena shook her head. "If I cave, she'll think she's queen. Worse, she'll bully someone who can't fight back." She grabbed her phone, snapped photos of the SUV's legal parking, and printed her exemption form, highlighting the clause that protected her vehicle. Game on. By mid-morning, Vivian was back, strutting down the sidewalk like she owned the street. "Last chance," she shouted, waving her phone. "Tow truck's coming." Lena, arms crossed, didn't flinch. "Good. I'd love to hear how towing a state vehicle with sovereign immunity won't land someone in jail." Vivian froze, her smirk faltering. "You're bluffing," she spat. "This badge nonsense doesn't scare me." Lena's voice was ice. "Then you'll love explaining it to the cops when they see the paperwork I've already sent to legal." Vivian's mouth opened, then snapped shut. She stormed off, muttering about regrets. 20 minutes later, a tow truck growled up the street. The driver, a scruffy guy named Mitch with a patchy beard, eyed Lena's SUV warily. Vivian materialized, practically bouncing with glee. "That's it. Take it." Mitch hesitated, spotting the state tags and official placard. "This is government property," he mumbled. "You sure about this?" Vivian rolled her eyes. "Do your job. I run this neighborhood." Lena stepped forward, badge in hand. "Sir, towing this violates state law. Proceed, and you'll lose your license." Mitch backed off instantly. "I'm out." He peeled away, leaving Vivian fuming in the dust. Lena leaned toward me and whispered, "That's strike one." The next day, the neighborhood buzzed with whispers. Dog walkers lingered near our lawn, sneaking glances at the SUV like it was a war trophy. By noon, an envelope with a red, urgent sticker appeared on our door. Inside, a laughable HOA citation claimed we defied community harmony and owed $250 in 48 hours. Lena chuckled, tossing it aside. She's digging her own grave. Vivian, meanwhile, was posturing in her driveway, striking yoga poses while glaring our way. When Lena stepped outside, Vivian yelled, "This isn't over. You don't belong here if you can't follow rules." Lena ignored her, grabbing files from her SUV and gliding back inside. That silence stung more than any comeback. Then Vivian escalated. Lena received a flurry of bogus complaints, a city noise violation for engine idling, a report to her own department accusing her of impersonating an officer, and an HOA hearing scheduled for Friday. It was a desperate blitz. Lena sat at our kitchen table, sifting through each lie with surgical calm, calling in favors from her decade in the system. Her legal team flagged the impersonation claim as malicious, a move that could backfire hard on Vivian. I checked the HOA's online forum, usually a ghost town, now ablaze with debate. An anonymous post Vivian's handiwork showed a blurry SUV photo labeled power grab or fake plates. But a user, Creek Century, dropped a bombshell, Vivian's history of fake violations, a long list of petty vendettas. Lena pounced, using public records laws to pull HOA documents. Within a day, she had meeting minutes, violation logs, and financials so sloppy they'd make an accountant cry. Vivian had forged board signatures on citations, some processed for years without votes. Fines often vanished into a discretionary fund that didn't exist. Lena contacted the state's deputy attorney for oversight, sending a dossier of fraud, harassment, and the tow attempt. If this holds, he said, she's facing charges. Friday's HOA meeting was electric. The community center overflowed with residents, their faces a mix of intrigue and anger. Vivian strutted in, binder bulging, oozing confidence. Lena sat quietly, a slim folder her only weapon. Vivian spoke first, delivering a theatrical rant about rogue residents and her tireless defense of order. The room stayed silent, her allies gone. Then Lena took the podium. With chilling precision, she laid out the forged citations, illegal tows, and shady payments, backed by emails, logs, and state law. She revealed the attorney's investigation, then called up a surprise witness, Mr. Torres, a former board member. Shaking, he confessed to signing Vivian's orders under duress, exposing faked votes and altered minutes. The room gasped. Vivian's face turned beet red, her interruptions silenced by the board chair, Ellen. After a tense recess, Ellen announced Vivian's immediate suspension, pending the state's probe. Vivian screamed about regrets and stormed out, leaving her binder behind. The room exhaled, years of tension dissolving. Days later, a state compliance officer arrived, probing the HOA's abuses. Lena's evidence was so thorough he called it a model case. The HOA, shamed, repealed Vivian's petty rules goodbye, mailbox shape mandates. Neighbors barbecued again, kids biked freely, and the SUV became a symbol of defiance. But Vivian wasn't done. A week later, she filed a police complaint, again accusing Lena of impersonating an officer. The cop, an old friend of Lena's, laughed it off but warned us Vivian was spiraling. That night, she stood across the street, staring silently, her presence eerie. Lena, unfazed, said she's locking herself out. Soon, a county alliance tapped Lena to train HOAs on preventing abuse, turning her ordeal into reform. The state's probe concluded, suspending the HOA's powers for 6 months under oversight. Vivian vanished, her house empty until one Sunday. We saw her car pulled over for speeding and expired tags. Cited and flagged, she drove off, a moving truck trailing her out of town. The neighborhood bloomed anew. Lena's SUV stood proud, joined by other permitted cars, fearless. She earned county honors, but the real prize was the thank yous, cookies, and a carved sign from a neighbor. Respect parks here. One evening, Lena smiled. It started with her tow threat, but it was never about the car. I nodded. It was about power, and she had none. What do you think? Was Lena's takedown justice or overkill? Should HOAs have any enforcement power, or are they just playground for petty tyrants? Could Vivian have redeemed herself, or was she too far gone? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button, and subscribe for more real-life dramas.